Let us for some time meditate on the Divine Master, focusing all our attention on Him. Let the mind be made to sit at the divine lotus feet of the Master. These few moments we shall be able to repeat the divine name of the Lord, who is blissful, who is bestowing grace upon the whole creation, who is very kind and affectionate. Let us approach Him with great love and devotion, with great reverence, with all humility. Let the mind be not distracted in things that are disturbing. At least these few moments, let us try to sit and do little practice. Let us pray to the Lord for the peace and welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Stapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityor ma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual master who came to this earth to show us the spiritual way to the whole humanity. He came to show how to love God. He came to show that religion means being and becoming. He came to show religion means realization. Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes that we would be able to reach the goal, the abode of Paramatman, only if we practice spirituality with all earnestness and yearning. Otherwise it's not so easy to get rid of the illusory power of Maya. How we are all infatuated with the things of the world. How we have become mad. Literally we have become mad after the things. We don't know how to give them up. We are suffering and suffering, yet we don't learn. We don't learn. That is because of the illusory power of Maya. It is so terrible. Under the influence of that illusory power of Maya, we are groping in the dark. No way to come out of this darkness of ignorance. Spirituality is the path of knowledge, the path of light. Jnanavan mam prapadyante. He who has knowledge acquires the Supreme God. Knowledge is light. It's only through knowledge you can dispel ignorance, not by any means. So, ordinary mortals like us find very difficult to go through in this spiritual path. We need guidance all the time. So, the divine power takes divine forms, takes different forms, it comes to our level and teaches spirituality. In spite of their coming down and guiding us in every way, we are not able to open our eyes properly, so we will be always suffering unnecessarily. Suffering and happiness both are in our hands. Each individual is responsible for his or her happiness or sorrow. The only way to get real happiness is to love God. Then everything becomes easy. So Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes the point that through earnestness and yearning, all lovers of God will ultimately reach the same goal. But we should march onwards in the spiritual path. We should not stop at any moment. Whatever may be the circumstances, difficulties, surroundings, environments, let anything happen, we should not stop marching. So that is the secret to go onward in our spiritual journey. There will be ups and downs, but if you keep on marching onwards, you will be rising up. Finally, you will reach the goal. God's help is always there. God's grace is always there. God's help, God's grace comes to us through the Guru, the spiritual master, who initiates the aspirant into spiritual path. So we can recognize the divine grace through the grace of the Guru. So one of the main spiritual practice is that we should be able to serve the Guru with utmost love and devotion, with utmost care. That itself is the greatest tapas. That itself purifies our heart. It clears all the debris on the way, removes all the thorns on our way, and leads us without any difficulties towards the Paramatma. Sri Ramakrishna has said many times, God is not far away. He is very near us. You need not have to search Him out anywhere else. He is in our own heart. He is always there. He is always present. Only thing is, we should call on Him. Call on Him earnestly. That's a very important point. Doing japa, uttering the name of God is nothing but calling on Him. Repeating the divine name earnestly, with full attention, not distracting the mind, not running helter-skelter. Sit at least 5 minutes. Don't bother about anything else. Just think of God, remember Him, offer yourself completely to Him. Like that you must build up your spiritual personality. Then only you will be able to recognize the grace, the earnestness to realize God, and the lack of peace because we have not been able to do so are the symptoms of the divine grace. Sincerity, earnestness, purity, these form the main foundation of spiritual life. Without foundation, how can you build up your life? Without foundation, if you build a building, it falls down with the slight blowing of the wind. So our spirituality, many times I feel, has no foundation at all. We think we are spiritual. Something we are doing. We are satisfied with that something. No, that something is nothing. So concentrate upon putting the foundation first. Then think of building the structure. So how many of us are really serious about that? How many of us really do want to realize God or to have His vision? It is not possible to see the divine form with this ordinary eyes. We require special form of eyes. It's called Jnana Chakshus, the eye of knowledge. So we have to develop that Jnana Chakshus in us by constantly engaging ourselves positively, knowingly, consciously in spiritual, devotional practices with all seriousness and sincerity. We are sure to get the result. All the Mahatmas have assured us, and Sri Ramakrishna has assured, nothing to worry at all. So foundation is very important, as I said earlier. How far the foundation is strong? Sometimes we put the foundation. If it is faulty foundation, then again it won't work. So at every step we have to be extremely careful and alert. Then everything comes very easily. And Sri Ramakrishna is there with his words of wisdom, so wonderful, so direct. No commentaries necessary to understand Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. If our heart is pure, it immediately grasps the idea. Purity of heart is very essential. So, what Sri Ramakrishna says is that earnestness itself is a mantra. No teaching can help anybody if a person is not in earnest. We can easily distinguish persons who are earnest just by seeing the person. You can make out. You feel joy. Say, what a fine person he is. What pleasant appearance. So the very appearance and movement of those who earnestly call on God become impressive. Their very presence brings happiness. Their faces are always happy. Their hearts are pure. Their minds are free from likes and dislikes. They are ever eager to remain merged in the bliss that is God. So we have come to this world to achieve our spiritual goal. We have come to this world not to be drowned in the world, but to get released from the world. Not to get destroyed in the world, but to free ourselves from the world. We have to come to this world only to achieve freedom. We cannot get that freedom in heavens. Heavens, they are the place for just enjoyment. Nothing but enjoyment. Hell's meant for suffering. From birth to death, keep on suffering, then die out. So those two regions out of question. So then what is the way? We have to come to this world. Having come to this world, if we do not pay attention to the spiritual dimensions in us, then it's a terrible loss. Terrible loss. So, those who always try to maintain their spiritual attitude in their movements, in their actions, in their utterances, in their behavior. To them, the worldly good and evil, they all lose their distinction. They look upon them as same. That's the point we should bear in mind. Let us have the strong foundation of earnestness. Very important point. Let us develop true devotion to the Guru who has transmitted power to the disciple. How many people are really fortunate to have the service of the Guru? Tell me. Very rare. Even those who have got the opportunity, how many people do really realize that by serving the Guru, one gets everything? So, we understand all these things only when our mind is free from worldliness. If the mind is full of impurities, even if God comes and stands before you, you will not enjoy it. Just like a common fly, it always likes to sit on the filth. It enjoys the filth. It doesn't want to go and sit on the candy syrup. It says it's very fine in the filth. That's our fate. So, let us have good foundation to our spiritual life. Then, Sri Ramakrishna was telling to one devotee, now stop reading books. Now engage yourself completely for doing devotional practices. Reading of books have value. And what type of books we should read, Sri Ramakrishna specifies them also. Read those books which are suitable to your temperament. Lots of books are there. Some books if you read, those books will rouse your passions. Some books if you read, they make you restless. Some books if you read, they make you childish. So books have that tremendous power, no doubt. So why should you spoil your mind and then try to clean it? Don't allow the mind to be spoiled at all. Are we taking steps in that direction? We know certain things are not to be done, but we do certain things. We know certain things should not be seen, we see certain things. So, we ourselves are creating heaven and hell because on account of our own actions. The purpose of reading books should be to cherish love towards God. As I already told you, God is not far away, He is in our own heart. The more we love Him, the more we would be able to taste His sweetness. God is sweetness and the devotee is its enjoyer. How beautifully Sri Ramakrishna explains this. The devotee enjoys God. He can enjoy only when he cherishes real love towards God. There is an incident in the life of Ramanujacharya, the great spiritual master who advocated qualified non-dualism. Once the Acharya was coming on the street, he found a couple walking in the street, making love in the open street. All the people are going, all the people are seeing, what is this? This couple, they are making a show of their love in the streets. But they are not bothered about what people's observations or their remarks. They are just merging their mind in their act of love, whatever way they were doing. Ramanujacharya was coming on the way. He saw this couple making love in the public street, a sort of nuisance. But this couple, they are not seeing anybody. They are not even aware people are seeing them, all those things. They are just in their own imagination and dreams. Now, Ramanujacharya himself went near them. He looked at them and told, what are you doing? Why are you so much attracted towards each other? What is that power of attraction behind both of you? And the lover was telling, oh, that lady looks very beautiful. I can't take away my eyes from her beauty. I was so charmed by her beauty. In the same way, the lady also was telling, I am charmed by the man's beauty. So they were charmed by the beauty. Then Ramanujacharya said, all right, I shall take you a place where you will see most beautiful form in the world. Come, let us go. So he actually changed their course of thinking. He gave a turn, roundabout turn to their passionate love. And they just followed him. They thought, oh, Ramanuja he's showing something wonderful. Let us go and see what is that. So he took them to the temple of Ranganatha Swami temple, the image of Lord Vishnu, well decorated. And so Ramanuja asked them, come on, let us go inside. Ramanuja was so kind-hearted. He wanted to uplift these poor people. Poor in the sense, people who are worldly, they are poor people. Not the person who has no money. The person who is worldly is considered as poor. So, he wanted to raise them from that poverty. He wanted to remove spiritual bankruptcy in their hearts. Out of his infinite grace, he took them there. And he told them, look at the face of the deity. How do you find? So Ramanuja is telling them to look at the face of the deity, and by his spiritual power, the Lord in that image became luminous. And this couple, they were amazed to see that beautiful form. Amazing. Their whole life completely turned towards spirituality. Their whole heart was completely purified. Without that purification, they couldn't see the form, divine form. That purification was done by Ramanujacharya, who became their guru. From that time onwards, they became very ardent devotees. If you read Ramanuja's life, you will come across this incident. So, when they saw God, they found God was the very personification of sweetness, the very personification of love, kindness, all these things. And they enjoyed. So God is sweetness and devotee is its enjoyer. The devotee drinks the sweet bliss of God. Then again Sri Ramakrishna gives another simile. God is a lotus and the devotee is the bee. The devotee sips the honey of the lotus. So that is one stage. Now he is lifted to another stage. Hitherto he was enjoying God. Now he becomes the object of enjoyment. A stage will come when devotee cannot live without God. So also God cannot live without his devotee. Now devotee becomes the sweetness. As God became the sweetness in the beginning, now devotee becomes the sweetness and God becomes its enjoyer. God enjoys the devotee's sweetness. He loves to be with the devotees, he loves to play with the devotees, he loves the company of the devotees. So, the devotee becomes the lotus and God becomes the bee. Whole thing is turned. So Sri Ramakrishna therefore tells us to develop that love, have firm foundation of earnestness, and with great yearning, let us try to practice our devotional practices to the best of our capacity. Let us be humble and pray to the Lord. Everything will be set right. Everything will be set right. We are nothing to worry. If our mind rests in God, we are nothing to worry. Worry comes when the mind is taken away from God. When the mind is put in the world, worry starts. If the mind is put in God, worry is extinguished. If you want to extinguish worry, try to remember God always. So with these words, I conclude my observations regarding the class which I read last Tuesday. Now I shall read a few lines, then I shall invite you to ask questions or you can give your comments. Page 306. There are many kinds of spiritual aspirants. Those endowed with sattva perform their spiritual practices secretly. They look like ordinary people, but they meditate inside the mosquito net. Aspirants endowed with rajas exhibit outward pomp, a string of beads around the neck, a mark on the forehead, an ochre robe, a silk cloth, a rosary with a golden bead, and so on. They are like stall keepers advertising their wares and signboards. All religions and all paths call upon their followers to pray to one and the same God. Therefore, one shouldn't allow disrespect to any religion or religious opinion. It is God alone who is called Satchidananda Brahman in the Vedas, Satchidananda Krishna in the Puranas, Satchidananda Shiva in the Tantras. It is one and the same Satchidananda. There are different sects of Vaishnavas. That which is called Brahman in the Vedas is called Alek Niranjan by one Vaishnava sect. Alek means that which cannot be pointed out or perceived by the sense organs. According to this sect, Radha and Krishna are only two bubbles of the Alek. According to the Vedanta, there is no incarnation of God, referring to Advaita Vedanta. The Vedantists say that Rama and Krishna are but two waves in the ocean of Satchidananda. In reality, there are not two, there is only one. A man may call on God by any name. If he is sincere in his prayer, he will certainly reach him. He will succeed if he has longing. As Sri Ramakrishna spoke these words to the devotees, he was overwhelmed with divine fervor. Coming down to partial consciousness of the world, he said to Balram's father, "Are you the father of Balram?" All sat in silence. Balram's aged father was silently telling his beads. Master said to him and the others, "Well, these people practice so much japa and go to so many sacred places, but why are they like this? Why do they make no progress?" In their case, it seems as if the year consists of 18 months. Once I said to Harish, "What's the use of going to Benares if one doesn't feel restless for God? And if one feels that longing, then this very place is Benares. They make so many pilgrimages and repeat the name of God so much, but why do they not realize anything? It is because they have no longing for God. God reveals himself to the devotee if only he calls upon him with a longing heart. At the beginning of a yatra performance, much light-hearted restlessness is to be observed on the stage. At that time, one doesn't see Krishna. Next, the sage Narada enters with his flute and sings longingly, "O Govinda, O my life, O my soul." Then Krishna can no longer remain away and appears with the cowherd boys. Sri Ramakrishna was in his room with Rakhal, Balram's father, Benipal, M, Manimalik, Ishan Kishori, and other devotees. Master said, "Liberal-minded devotees accept all the forms of God, Krishna, Kali, Shiva, Rama, and so on." Balram's father said, "Yes, sir. It is like a woman's recognizing her husband, whatever clothes he wears." Master said, "But again, there is a thing called nishtha, single-minded devotion. When the gopis went to Mathura, they saw Krishna with a turban on his head. At this they pulled down their veils and said, 'Who is this man? Where is our Krishna with the peacock feather on his crest and the yellow cloth on his body?' Hanuman also had that unswerving devotion. He came to Dwaraka in the cycle of Dwapara. Krishna said to Rukmini, his queen, 'Hanuman will not be satisfied unless he sees the form of Rama.' So to please Hanuman, Krishna assumed the form of Rama. But my dear sir, I am in a peculiar state of mind. My mind constantly descends from the absolute to the relative, and again ascends from the relative to the absolute. The attainment of the Absolute is called the knowledge of Brahman, but it is extremely difficult to acquire. A man cannot acquire the knowledge of Brahman unless he completely rids himself of his attachment to the world. When the Divine Mother was born as a daughter of King Himalaya, she showed her various forms to her father. The king said, "I want to see Brahman." Thereupon the Divine Mother said, "Father, if that is your desire, then you must seek the company of holy men. You must go into solitude, away from the world, and now and then live in holy company. The manifold has come from the one alone, the relative from the absolute. There is a state of consciousness where the many disappears, and the one as well, for the many must exist as long as the one exists. Brahman is without comparison. It is impossible to explain Brahman by analogy. It is between light and darkness. It is light, but not the light that we perceive, not material light. Again, when God changes the state of my mind, when He brings my mind down to the plane of the relative, I perceive that it is He who has become all this, the Creator, Maya, the living beings and the universe. Again, sometimes He shows me that He has created the universe and all living beings. He is a master and the universe is garden. He is a master and the universe and all its living beings belong to Him. That is knowledge. And I am the doer, I am the guru, I am the father. That is ignorance. This is my house, this is my family, this is my wealth, these are my relatives. This also is ignorance. Balram's father, "That's true, sir," he said. Sri Ramakrishna said, "As long as you do not feel that God is a master, you must come back to the world. You must be born again and again. There will be no rebirth when you can truly say, 'O God, Thou art the Master.' As long as you cannot say, 'O Lord, Thou alone art real,' you will not be released from the life of the world. This going and coming, this rebirth is inevitable. There will be no liberation. Further, what can you achieve by saying, 'It is mine'? This use. The feeling of I and mine has covered the reality. Because of this we do not see truth. Attainment of Chaitanya, divine consciousness, is not possible without the knowledge of Advaita, non-duality. After realizing Chaitanya, one enjoys Nityananda, eternal bliss. One enjoys this bliss after attaining the state of a Paramahamsa. We shall stop here. Yeah. In fact, I told in my course of talk that according to our temperament we should select the books. Yeah. A person who is a devotee, who wants to worship personal God, he is not supposed to read Ashtavakra Gita, which deals with only Atman and it negates everything. Sri Ramakrishna himself has said to his disciples, don't read Ashtavakra Gita. Read Narada Bhakti Sutra. Narada Bhakti Sutra is meant for you. Ashtavakra Gita is meant for that fellow. So, according to our taste, our temperament, we should read the books. Even practices also, according to our capacity, we should take up particular spiritual practice. There is no question of imitation here. According to your own inherent capacities, you must choose the path. Once you have chosen the path, you must go steadfast in that path without any hindrance. And God's help will be always there. Because God is everywhere, God is in your own heart. He helps you in every way, abundantly. You will come to know that also. The more we are in spiritual path, the more we come to know God's grace and blessings. But the point is, we think we are in spiritual path, but in reality we are not. That's the problem. Because we want the things of the world, we want to enjoy the world, we want to go that way, but we want to give spiritual garb. That will not help. That will not help. But if you understand, if you have got intellectual understanding, at least you will feel it is true. It is because of this, it is happening this way. Like that, if you think yourself, then you'll be able to maintain peace amidst all disturbances, what is going on. But you have to be careful. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, maintaining spirituality means getting less and less worldly. Yeah, that's also important. Otherwise, what is the use? You take bath in the Ganges water, and again you go and lie down on the muddy sand, muddy soil. What is the use of taking bath? Again, body becomes completely soiled because you lie down on the muddy earth. Not only you should take bath, but you should not lie down on the muddy earth. So, like that it is. Spirituality is like that. Not only you have to practice spiritual practices, but also you must withdraw the mind from going too much towards the world. You must not get lost into the world. It is like that. God has given you freedom. If you want God, God will come to you. If you want world, take the world. God gives you that. God's grace you are not able to understand as long as your mind is worldly. God's grace is, you will understand only when you love God, when you feel joy in uttering the name of God, and when you would like to spend more and more time in the spiritual path. That is the indication. But the theory, people talk, otherwise how can we earn money, how can we live? It's all right, but if you talk like that, then be ready to take whatever that comes there also. It doesn't come simply. Whatever you get from the world, by your contact with the world, you won't get simply what you want. Something more will come along with it. Pleasant plus unpleasantness, both will come. Pleasantness plus unpleasantness, both will come in the worldly things. You can't simply take only one and reject it, no. So what you should do, give attention, proper attention, more attention to your spiritual practices. Do them, then go to the world, do your duties. Then what happens? You will be able to maintain the balance. You will not be disturbed. At the same time, though you are in the world, you will not go unnecessarily, you will not disturb your mind. It's not that you must foolishly follow the people who go in that way. If 10 people go to the bar, it doesn't mean that you should also go to the bar. If 10 people dance in a nasty way, it doesn't mean that you should also dance in the nasty way. Telling, oh, they're all there, one man, one lady I am, if I don't dance, what will they think? So, this kind of explanation will not help. Then you will understand His grace. His grace is always there. But turning to God itself is a grace. That guidance, you have to that's why the association with spiritual people helps a lot. Many people come to us and we will tell them, you read this book like that. So, we can guide like that. And you yourself will be able to find out also, oh, this book is not for me. And some books you feel interested, you can have those books and start reading them like that. Both are possible. Both are possible. But sometimes we allow some certain things, we know it is bad, but still our mind, weakness of the mind, we read those books and we spoil our mind. We know it, but we do it. That's the Maya. That is the illusory power of Maya. It is so terrible. So terrible. Any more question? Wonderful. I am amazed. See, we have got a wonderful buddhi. Buddhi means intellect. Only we must tune it. It's like tuning the radio. If you tune to bad things will come. Tune to good things will come. So always you must keep it in a high level. Never allow the mind to go down. That's the way. Otherwise, you can't get peace in this world. It's so terrible. World becomes so terrible if you forget God. If your mind is not on God, if your spiritual life is not based on foundations, then this world becomes terrible. With God, the same world becomes heaven. That's the beauty. As I said, this is the only place where you have to work out your own liberation. Not in heavens, not in hells. Only in this Manushya Loka. This is called Martya Loka. You have to come here. Suffering comes, difficulties come, so that we may learn the lesson. so that we may learn the unreality of these things, so that we may take decision to reject them mercilessly. That is called renunciation. Reject everything, you will become the master of everything. If you become attached to certain thing, you will be possessed by that thing. It's a terrible state of affairs. Where there is attachment, there is misery, there is sorrow, there is pain, terrible pain. Because people, they cannot live without desires. That's also a fact. But there are desires and desires. Some desires are harmful, some desires are good. So choose between the two. Desires you will have, no doubt. So why not we have the good desires? So like that, be intelligent and cherish good desires, and after satisfying to a certain extent those good desires, you must transcend those desires also. You must rise above that. In the ultimate analysis, desires cause disturbance. Any desire that comes to your mind means you want to work it out. In that process, if it is not according to your satisfaction, you feel unhappy. But aspiring God is not considered as desire in this sense, in the ordinary sense of the term. Desire means ordinarily that which distracts you from spiritual path. That's the thing. Has got any question? No? Wow, wonderful. That happiness is because of Sri Ramakrishna's presence. Bhagwan's presence is here. There is no doubt about it. If you come early hours in the day, any time, if you come prepared, mentally prepared, and sit here for a few minutes, you will see the beauty of it. Sri Ramakrishna is living here. You must know. At least I am confident of that. The reason is why I am telling, we have got relics of Sri Ramakrishna here. So, he is present. He is present. And if we do our practices properly, wonderful results will come. Wonderful results. I myself have seen so many problems come. I keep on thinking for some time, and then I pray to Sri Ramakrishna. Nicely they go away. Surprisingly, they come like as if you cannot do anything about that. But miraculous it is how it melts away it's true. I feel it more and more because I am very conscious about those things. I am watching everything, how the problems come, how the circumstances gather up, but how nicely the clouds disperse. But we should keep on doing practices properly. That's very important. Do it properly. Don't worry about the result. Leave the result to God. He knows to give you the best result. Name bhakta pranashyati. Bhagavan says, Lord Krishna says in the Gita, my devotee is not perished. So, just do your practices. The Lord will take care of you every way. It is true, but we have no patience. We are so impatient. We judge God by our worldly ways. That's not possible. We are not able to judge that way. Keep on doing spiritual exercises without giving any reasons. Do it sometimes forcefully. Tame the mind, turn the mind, make the mind obey. Then you will see the beauty of it. Then the mind itself will become your guru. You must know. The point is, whatever the good ideas or spiritual ways we think about, we are not strong enough. We think, but we are weak. We must make those thoughts strong and strong and strong. By repeatedly thinking, by asserting your strength, you can make it strong. Once they become strong, then you are the hero. Very good. Any more question? All right, we shall conclude. I had been to Orlando. There is a very good program. They celebrated birthday anniversaries. Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, Swami Vivekananda, combined birthday anniversaries. They celebrated. Very good gathering was there. I did Homa, Puja of Sri Ramakrishna, and there was talk, there was bhajan, children program. Everything went off very well. Last year also I had gone. This year also I went. They told me to come more often. I told it's not possible. I can come only once in a year. Because I have to go to many places, Anyway, I was so happy to see so many people coming there. And at least at that time, they will be able to think of Sri Ramakrishna. That's the idea of celebrating. I told the people there, involve all the people, invite everybody, all groups, let everybody come and participate in the program. So, I myself was in a very ecstatic state because it gave me opportunity to think of Sri Ramakrishna and meditate on him, pray to him, and singing bhajans on him. I love music. So, how many varieties of devotees are there? Tremendous. There is one devotee I saw there. She is a doctor. Husband is a doctor. Wife is a doctor. At least they may earn millions of dollars every year, I think. Because both of them are experts and reputed. But they're so humble. Particularly that lady, I could see, and I was so happy to observe that she was full of Krishna. Her whole mind was full of Krishna. Her whole home inside. Go everywhere, anywhere. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So, they had invited me to visit their place. I went there. So they asked me to do some bhajans. I sang on Krishna only. It was so nice. That is the way. Money is not the... How many people are there who earn a lot of money? But how many people are humble? Tell me. So, there's a tendency. Generally people, they criticize the people who are rich. It's wrong actually, I should say. The rich people have got very good qualities. Very good noble qualities are there. They don't have jealousy. They don't have petty-mindedness. Those things you must observe. Whereas if you see the poor people, you'll be horrified. Their jealousy, their hatred, terrible. You can't go near them. That bad vibrations travel about 5 miles around them. I don't mean all poor people are like that. Generally, I'm telling. So, best thing is not to criticize anybody. Don't criticize anybody. But these things will not apply to devotees. When you recognize yourself as a devotee, then you are neither rich nor poor. You are rich in one sense. You are rich spiritually. That's wonderful. Spiritual richness, spiritual qualities, beautiful. And by the by, I'm telling you because it reminded me. Next month, April, last weekend of the month, for the first time, we are planning to have women retreat in Ganges. And any lady who wants to attend that retreat, she's welcome. But they should register the name early so that, because we take only limited people. And on that occasion I want to speak on Holy Mother, how she has shown the way to the modern women. And I am trying to interpret her life according to Gita ideal. I am trying, let us see. So women are really remarkable, there is no doubt. Because they have forgotten their uniqueness, so they feel that inferiority complex. They always feel they are inferior. Why should they feel like that? Because they have forgotten their wonderful qualities. They are equally eligible. Somebody was telling, you were telling that the ladies were not entitled for liberation. It was horrible. How many notions are there people having? See, that's how we are misled by all sorts of theories and confusion. So, if you want to understand religion truly, come to Sri Ramakrishna. Be safe. That's the only way. Anyway, chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame, as many times as I may be reborn. Grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from the darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.